Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner Davis.
Wow, it is live. I usually come on and say live to my co-host April, Mr. But she's working behind the scenes tonight, so doing even better than that. Good evening. I'm your co-host Ed McQueen for WCM Live, and it's good to have everybody listening, looking, and viewing with us this evening. We certainly appreciate your thoughts with your comments and so forth. Atlantic Beach and Gullah Geechee, all that stuff comes into play. We can't get enough of the Black Pearl. It's been a while since we visited our guest production tonight, but I'll start off by saying that spanning generations, the Black Pearl, which is which the theme is going to be about this evening, that's an epic story. It's a playwright by our two guests, and it's about love and loss against the majestic beauty and rich history of Atlantic Beach, believe it or not. It's about Atlantic Beach. I want you all to please look at this carefully, and you can send in your analysis. Let us know. Give us some good feedback. And it's like it tells you a little bit about a wise family that's fighting to protect the integrity of one of the last black-owned beach communities in America, and that is Atlantic Beach. So, but you're going to have fighting among themselves. So I'm just going to give you a synopsis so that you can kind of like put it in your mind what to expect a little bit, okay? Now, all of this is written by two playwrights, Miss Cynthia Grace Robinson, and directed by Cezar Williams, husband and wife team, and it's amazing. I'll just give you a little historical how the World Community Magazine got involved. Involved because we saw the last playwright that they had and the last production that they had, and it was at Coastal Carolina University. This was a reading, kind of separate a reading from the actual complete production. Okay. But what's coming up is a full production. Now, I'll tell you, the reading to me, I thought it was a full production because it was so amazing how they came about with these characters on this play. It was at the Coastal Carolina University stage, right over here, and they like to acknowledge that the commission. This play was commissioned. And made possible by the generous support of Nancy and Billy Cave. We'll talk about who they are later on. We'll get with that. But on tonight's broadcast, we're going to discuss the experiences and the collaborative process and development of the Black Pearl. It's a husband and wife team and what they're proud of regarding the play. I'll tell you, it was back in February of last year, February 2024 at Coastal Carolina. Well, like I said, it was a reading. It was just a reading, but just is not enough. It was very, very entertaining. So they're going to give us a little review of what the student actors and they're going to be part of students of Coastal Carolina and designers at Coastal Carolina University, and what we can expect from a show. And they will elaborate on some of the dates. So without further ado, I'll just say this: the name of the show is The Black Pearl. Everybody knows what the Black Pearl is. So without further ado, we're going to bring on our playwright and director, husband and wife team, Miss Cynthia Grace Robinson, who's the playwright, and Mr. Cezar Williams. Okay, he's the director. So, good evening to both of you.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Well, wow, it's just such a delight. I feel honored by your presence here this evening, because it was, like I said, I was telling as a preview, as the introduction, that about what the distinction between a reading and full production of a play, right? So we just started reading at Coastal Carolina last year, and it was wall to wall people, as far as I was concerned, and it was something else. I was floored almost. So, but anyway, I'll start with you, Miss Robinson, since you was the playwright, and I'm going to move on to your husband, who's a director. So just give us a little background of yourselves. You can say it in a collaborative way, a joint way if you like, but let the audience know who we're dealing with, and later on we'll get into exactly how you all came about. Okay.
Okay, thank you, and I'm so glad to be on again. I remember we spoke last year after the reading, so I'm so happy that you had a good experience with the reading. Yes, so I'm a career educator and a playwright. I've been writing plays for 20 years, and so yes, and this is another full-length production. I write mostly full-length works. My work has been produced nationally and internationally. We're based out of New York, and so the Black Pearl was actually, the idea for the Black Pearl was just because Coastal Carolina was looking for a playwright to commission to write a play, and so they contacted me. Actually, I have to say that they contacted me through a mutual person that I had worked with in the past at North Carolina Black Rep Jackie Alexander,
Right.
And the rest is history. And then 2 years ago, I started writing the play, and we came and we had a reading of it, and it went very, very well. We were so happy it was well received, and here we are, 18 days, 17 days away from the opening night. Is it 17 days, 18 days? I don't know.
My math is sketchy.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, that's a major distinction between the mathematicians and playwrights. So you do well at that. It was the playwright. But anyway, brother Cezar.
Yes.
If you want to elaborate a little further, or
Yes. No, I'm a director, and I am an actor, and I'm a producer. So, as Cynthia mentioned, we're based out of New York, though 6 months ago, we transitioned out to Los Angeles. So now we consider ourselves to be bi-coastal, spending half our time in LA and half our time in New York. And it seems like all of our time in South Carolina. So,
and here we are in South Carolina.
So no, it's been great. And as Cynthia mentioned, and you mentioned before, we've been working on this project for a couple of years, and we're super proud of the play and the work of the students.
Yeah, well, if you could call South Carolina a jumpstart, remember that Joe Biden got his jumpstart in South Carolina with our sisters.
That is true.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so do we? Are you going to start? You're going to start. Give us some dates, if you don't mind. And if you want to collaborate on it, I gave a little synopsis, a little bit about what the play is, was about. If you can care to go further, that's fine.
I'll let Cynthia talk about the play, and I'll pull up the dates for the performance.
Yes. So, as you stated, Mr. McQueen, the Black Pearl is set in Atlantic Beach, beautiful Atlantic Beach down here. And as you so eloquently said, is one of the last surviving Black coastal communities, Black owned in the United States. So that right there is sort of a story. But the Black Pearl, it is set in two different time frames. So it starts in 1954, where we get to see when Black Pearl was in its heyday of music and food and clubs and during segregation. And so what we see in 1954 is the beginnings of the Wise family, how what will be in Act 2, the grandparents, how they got together. And so it's a love story. So we have a love story in many ways in this play. And then in Act Two, we jump to night 2025, and we see the descendants. I don't want to give away too much, but we see the descendants of the characters that we've been introduced to in Act One.
Right.
All of it in Atlantic Beach. In 1954, we see Atlantic Beach in its past, and in 2025, it's present and dealing with present. And I like to say that I think that the play is a love story on 3 levels. So it's about this family, the Wise family. They're sort of the characters we're focused on, and it's a woman-led cast. Also, we're focusing on the women. There are men in the play, but we focus on the women, and it's a love story in 3 places. It's a love story between Lloyd and Pearl in 1954. It's a love story of a brother and sister of Esau and Esther in 2025. And then it's a love story all encompassing. I like to say it's a love letter to Atlantic Beach, because we've come to love Atlantic Beach and love its story, and all of the people, all the characters involved are intimately involved with Atlantic Beach and care about it. And that's where there are conflicts, there's drama, all of that. So that's where we meet our characters.
I'd like to say, in addition to that, it kept me in my seat. This was just a reading that was the last time. So you can imagine what the full production is going to be like. So how much time are we talking about? What's the duration of the play?
So the play runs for about 2.5 hours. There'll be an intermission, I'm certain.
Yeah.
Like I said, the reading was 1 level, as everybody knows. This is just actors sitting in a chair, stage directions. But now you bring in the lights, you bring in the costumes, you bring in the sound, you bring in all the magic and majesty of theater. Not to mention the fact that Cynthia has had now a year to really work on the script.
Right.
And we've been here since early February, right? Rehearsing with the actors, with the students.
Uh-huh.
So if the reading, the students have maybe a week to rehearse, and now they're gonna have about a month. So it's gonna be. I like to tell people I think it's gonna be like nothing people have ever seen before, and I honestly believe it's gonna be the best play that people have ever seen in their lives.
That's a high bar. Saying that. Well, it has a lot of elements in it. We have music. We have now. We've tapped into Tendaji, who is a local
Tendaji
Bailey, local musician, and his music will be a part of it, as well as movement. So there are a lot of elements that you didn't get in reading that you will get in the full production.
Yeah, and the gullah players, they're kind of our Greek chorus or our world makers. They represent our ancestors who communicate with us every day, that guide us every day, that protect us every day, our guardian angels. And they have so in the reading they weren't that big a part of the production, but here, I mean, they are kind of this beautiful golden thread that weaves throughout the tapestry of the play from beginning to end.
Yeah, but you mentioned it was an all female. Did you say that?
No, it's male and female, but the lead characters are both female.
Yeah, I thought that's what I saw the last time.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
That hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed. Okay. And I thought the plot was just magnificent, and then it followed through with that. So we have a young lady who came on and says she's definitely looking forward to seeing this gem. You can see it at the bottom of your screen. I think everybody's looking forward to it. Do you talk about Atlantic Beach much after when you go to places like New York? I mean, you go back.
Oh yes.
It's the Pearl, because there's a lot of people there who are from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, and they know Atlantic Beach. Really.
Yeah, it's been really one of the great gifts of working on this play is getting to know Atlantic Beach and the people of Atlantic Beach and being able to share
Yeah.
their story,
Right.
the history of Atlantic Beach, and just kind of the courage and the power of the people who are there now. Just some of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. Just generous, just loving, proud people. It's been great being able to travel the country. So, we've been in LA for the last 6 months, and they have Bruce's Beach out there, which has a kind of a similar history.
Yeah, close to Atlantic Beach.
Yeah, but doesn't, they weren't able to maintain it the same way that the people of Atlantic Beach have been able to
really?
and fight for it. So just really using this story as a way to inspire and give hope to people all over the country is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. There's this book called The Black Pearl. I think it was. Have you all read that? It has some graphics. I can't bring it up right now, but
Is
has
it
a lot
called
of.
Suttles? Her last name is Suttles.
Yes.
Yes,
I have that.
yes.
I got that book.
Yeah.
First thing I did before I even started writing.
Yeah.
That book has beautiful pictures of then and now. And yes, beautiful book.
It makes you feel like you're almost there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
And
almost there.
the play will take you even further. So some of the design elements from the play were pulled straight from that book.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so you'll see those elements on the stage, represented on the stage and in the story. And our hope is that when people walk into the theater, they feel like they're walking into Atlantic Beach.
Yeah.
And that the people who live there will feel a sense of pride at how beautiful the place is being represented. And people who aren't from Atlantic Beach or who have not been to Atlantic Beach won't be able to, just can't wait to go to Atlantic Beach and see it and to learn about it and to be part of not only its history, but its future.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you asked the question about do people talk about Atlantic Beach? It's so interesting because when we started working on this project, I found myself asking people all the time, have you heard of Atlantic Beach? You know about Atlantic Beach? And people would get very confused, I think, about the history of these places. So whenever I would mention Atlantic Beach, sometimes people would bring up Martha's Vineyard up in that's in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And I would always have to correct people that Massachusetts is a place where people go, and Martha's Vineyard, where, in the summer, Black people gather and it's very beautiful and, for vacation. But that is not to be confused with a place like Atlantic Beach that is founded by a Black man, inhabited by Black people, and is still inhabited by Black people. That's very all year round, not just during vacation. And so I just feel like one of the gifts of this project for me is, number one, my father being from South Carolina and just bringing me back to the roots of Gullah Geechee roots and understanding, the foods I grew up with and all of that, but also the pride in all of the people that I've met, because I've interviewed like at least a dozen people to do this project. And that's been the greatest thing, like just meeting all of you and talking to you and with such deep roots. And I just want people to know that there are so many places like Atlantic Beach, and Atlantic Beach is very special, that Black folks, like, we've been here. We've been here for a really long time. And so that's really important. And even through the hardships, through Hurricane Hazel, through segregation, there's just such a pride of such deep roots. And I think that that's just so important.
Yeah, absolutely. We just had a comment from a lady who's well versed in Gullah Geechee. That was Miss Margie McIver. I don't know if you know her not well, but she's well on top of that. And the lady at Coastal Carolina University.
Zenobia.
Yeah. When they get together, they can put those two minds together about Gullah Geechee. They can reveal a lot of stuff, and they can take you to some things where and material to to really bring it out, and you all will be quite receptive of it. Now, how often have you been to Charleston? I mean, the museum.
We are going tomorrow. We are going
Gullah
to,
Museum.
yeah, we're going to go there tomorrow. We're excited. We did have a chance to go to Brook Green Garden
Right.
and see Zenobia's artwork and the garden they have there, the Gullah Garden there. That was,
They have a low country display.
yeah, that was nice. Went to Hilton Head. Mitchellville also has a kind of a museum, and I feel like there's one other place we went, but we're looking forward to tomorrow going to Charleston. We've heard wonderful things about this museum.
We're excited about
Jackie Alexander. We went to see him in Fences a couple of days ago. He's starring as Troy Maxson in Fences, and we had dinner, and he told us we have to get down to see this museum, and so we're going tomorrow.
Well, there's one in Georgetown, right? Georgetown.
Yes.
Yes, that was the other one.
That was the other one, yes.
Yeah. And it's been there for a while. It's small but quaint, and it's just operated by a family.
Yes.
And a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It's powerful.
But so if as this success of this play progresses, do you have intentions of? I'm not asking for future endeavors now. Do you have intentions of modifying it? For example, if after you find out a little more about Gullah Geechee, you want to have that. You want to add that into the screenplay, not screenplay, but the play itself.
Or screenplay.
Yeah.
So I think that it's just like any other project, in that when you bring a project to life, your dream and your hope is that it will go on to live. It will live on.
Yeah.
And I think that because this is the world premiere, which is what makes it so special. Like, it's never been on stage, so it's never existed anywhere else. And I love that it's being premiered in the place where in South Carolina. I think that we're going to learn a lot from this production, and we'll really get to see it fully realized on its feet.
Right.
Whenever you see something, like even whenever I write something and then I see it on its feet, usually after I see it on its feet, then I learn things, I can change things, I can, you had an audience, so what engaged the audience most. So right now, I think that's what we'll have an eye for, right? Like, what will resonate with the audience? What will we learn more to enrich it? Yeah. Because you brought up a screenplay, I mean, I absolutely think that I said this before. I absolutely think that the story of Atlantic Beach should be a television series. I think it should be a wider audience, and I think so. My goal is to get as many people to see the Black Pearl nationwide, maybe even internationally as possible. Treat it like any other play. The push behind it. And one day maybe it will find itself to the small screen. I mean, I think that, the thing that's so intriguing about Atlantic Beach and so interesting is that it's an evolving story. Like, it's still here, it's history, but it's also, we're living the history. It's living history. So there's so much story that still needs to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. In the play, we have a fictionalized ending, about how we end the story, but it's fictionalized. But I think that, I think that my goal is absolutely to have it live on. And because there are so many places where Black folks on coasts nationwide have settled and lost land. I mean, this conversation around, losing our land is such a relevant conversation. It's so present. And I think Atlantic Beach is such a wonderful testimony to what it looks like when you are just standing strong and holding on, and bring up questions like, what does it mean to progress in a community? But you wanted to say something about, I remember you were saying something about the future of it at one point. Do you remember?
Well, the future of the production.
The play.
Yeah, I mean, I think the play can travel to any. I think it can go anywhere, but I'm specifically interested in bringing theater to places where the topic is relevant. This question of land ownership and gentrification is relevant in a lot of different areas, and so I think bringing this story to those areas not only will entertain the people, but will hopefully educate
Yeah.
and also inspire. And I think
Right.
that's what we're trying to do. And you talk about the play adjusting. I think the play adjusts as Cynthia and I learned things about Atlantic Beach, about Gullah Geechee culture, about the world and life and everything. But the beauty of theater and art is it's a collaborative art form. So this play is different and better than the reading because of what the actors have brought to it, what the students have brought to it.
So let me interrupt you. So it
Yes.
gets better. You tell me it gets better than the reading? Oh,
It is better.
I'm being facetious because it was so good. The reading was, yeah.
I mean, I'm not just saying that. I mean, these
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
are really something else. We have students who are Gullah in the play, and it's been not only has it been a source of pride for them to be in the play, but it's been a chance for them to share their culture and inspire the other students in the play and educate all of us. And they've added their own special touch to the play.
Right.
The way they say things, the way they move, it's just so beautiful. It's really the whole play has just become a gorgeous dance or a gorgeous mosaic of dance and singing and poetry and this, like you said, this wonderful, incredible plot line that Cynthia's created.
And we feel very blessed because we were talking about how God moves, like that we're in South Carolina, staring out at the ocean every day, putting together this story. Like every time I look at the ocean, I'm thinking about how our ancestors came across that water. Like I think there's a line in the play that says our blood is in that water. And it's a survival story. It's a love story. I think it's, I think that it's a story that I hope that everybody will be able to find something that they can connect with, because it's a very human story. And I think that that's really important because, sometimes people think when you tell a Black story that they can't, if they're not Black, they can't enter the story.
Relate, yeah.
They can't relate. And and as Cezar said, every great story is a love story at its core, but it's a very human story. And it really deals with it, like in the introduction, it deals with love, it deals with loss, it deals with grief, it deals with, making hard choices, family conflicts. Like there's a lot in there for people to connect with. And then there are the ancestors, the Gullah players. One of the theme that we're working with for this play is that the past is never really gone. Yeah. So that's what we're playing with as our theme, right? The past is never really gone. Our ancestors, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, they are present with you, not only in spirit, but also the things that they've taught you, the things that the ways that who you are, it's all in there. And that's a universal thing. Like it's
Absolutely.
Not even about or not.
Absolutely.
It's about family lines and bloodlines and how we're impacted by the things that come before. So when I think about Atlantic Beach, I go back to, even though we don't have George Tyson in the play, the person who in 1937 founded it, we don't have him in the play. Right. However, if not, his decision has influenced everything, right? And
absolutely.
So we can think about how our own decisions influence the next generations. And I think that's a very powerful thing to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to call myself a visionary sometimes, but I'm visualizing when and if Horry County, including Myrtle Beach and Conway, if they get to the point of having a tourist trolley or tourist transportation throughout the Myrtle Beach and the Conway area, hopefully that could be a continuous tourist stop. Okay, it could be at Coastal or another venue.
Yes.
But hopefully that could be one of the tourist stops, and I see that happening.
Yes.
Okay, I really see that happening.
Yes, I think you're right about that.
And keeping the vision of that alive too, right? Like the younger generations don't know unless we tell them, right? Yeah. Well, they don't know. So we have to keep these stories alive in whatever way, be it theater, be it books, be it oral tradition, so that they will know that they're sitting or they're minutes away from a very historic place, a place with a very deep story. Because one of the things that I learned in this process was that there are many people who live within minutes of Atlantic Beach and never heard of Atlantic Beach. And, they've lived here their whole life and they've never,
Right.
and that happens, right?
Right.
That
Yeah.
happens. However, the students that we have that are Gullah, they knew what we were talking about. They had been taught, they had been told, and that was just really exciting and refreshing for me. I think it's interesting. Speaking of ancestors, I always bring this up. That the 3 times that this is like the 4th time or 3rd. Every time I've come down to Coastal, be it to work on this piece, and prior to this, they came to work on something else. It has always been the same week, and it's always been this first week in February, which is my dad's birthday. Who was from South Carolina. So I dedicated the play to my father, William Robinson Jr., because I just think it's I have this feeling about him having a hand in bringing me to South Carolina 4 years in a row, during his birthday every single year. And I also have such great memories of, like even here when we came here, and the food was always a big part of my life and my family. Like anybody knows me, like we just do food very serious, And I remember, so Cezar's family's from Alabama, so they eat differently than my family did. So I remember when we first got married, I would make rice with everything. And he finally said, why? And I remember my mom used to tell me, well, you eat, you're Geechee. That's why, that's what she would tell me that.
Yeah.
But it was so wonderful to go to the museums and to really go into deep culture about rice growing, right, and all of that. Like was such a laborious process and everything. So he's okay now with eating more rice, but at the beginning years,
I kind of figured it would catch on.
Like they know rice is going to be a part of the deal. Like this is what we're having. That's just one thing.
I kind of figured it would catch on with Cezar.
Yes.
The rice.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Yes. So I'm anxious to see this upcoming production. We have some dates for the production. If I could get them up. Yeah. Yeah, they are. The date's on Friday, March 28th.
Yeah, that's our opening.
That's our opening.
Yeah. That's next Saturday. Not this one's coming, right? It's the following Saturday.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away. Yeah.
Which for us is a very short period of time because we still have work to do.
Oh, really? Yeah.
We're working every day and night, to make this play better and better and better.
Mm-hmm. I want to keep this up for a while. I guess people don't know how hard playwrights have to work. Even actors to me. Okay, that's hard work, I believe.
So we've been talking a lot about this lately, because about work and hard work and what kind of work it is. And I think we are on the same page when we say that it's very good work, right?
Yeah.
Anything you do in life, especially if you're passionate about it,
right,
you're going to work hard at it, and it's good work. And I feel like I know why people say it's hard work, because it's a lot of hours, right?
It's the minutes.
The minutes. It's a lot of minutes, a lot of hours. It's a lot of work that all of the people who come to see the play will never see. They'll see the production and the finished work, but they're not going to know about the hours behind it. Right. Just like your show, right? Like anything you do, people don't know about the preparation and to make it.
I'm telling you,
they can't know. But I feel like I'm blessed to have an opportunity to tell stories, and I feel very blessed that I had the opportunity to tell this particular story and was given this opportunity to tell this story at Coastal Carolina. I mean, when they commissioned me to write a play, they never told me what to write about. And so I had complete freedom. The only thing they told me is that I needed to have a cast of at least 15 or 12 to 15, something like that, because they had these students that needed to have roles. But other than that, I'm not going to say it was easy. There were days it was difficult, but it was difficult because you want to get it right.
Right.
You know, you want to
Absolutely.
make the people, you want
Absolutely.
people to be proud. I had interviewed so many people from Atlantic Beach, and I just wanted to feel like I did it
We
justice.
owe it to them.
We owe it to them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And right now, I'll be honest, like at this point in the process, you know, we talk about process. There, when we first got here, I was, as the writer, I was just making a lot of changes, and it was constant. It was like every single day, because we get in the rehearsal room and we learn things, and we, you know, we're cutting things and rewriting lines. But now I think we're turning the corner where it really is about turning it over to the actors and Cezar and the designers, because you know, we have student actors, we have student designers. Some of our designers are students. So all the effects you see, this is by young people, and that's what I think makes it so special. So I can kind of, I don't want to say I can come and sit back and relax, but my job at this point is, as a writer, is done until, to your point, the next time we pick it up and I, you know, revise it. So I'll still be working on it. Like I'll be watching it like everybody else, thinking, oh, I could have done that differently, or that word.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Right. Right.
But I love writing. I've always loved writing, and I just think it's a gift that is to be shared and to be used for good in this world. And I love that this is a love story, because I think we could use more love in the world, honestly. You know, well, you know it because it was in the reading. So we haven't cut down. If anything, the love has gotten, we've amped up the love more. Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's sharper. I think it's you care about these characters.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for Cezar to kind of amp up the love there.
Yes, man. Boy, there's a lot of kissing. I just want to tell you that there's a lot of kissing in this play.
We had to bring in an intimacy coordinator because we have quite a bit of kissing.
Yes, a love story.
It is a love story, but I think that theater is hard, is constant work. Like anybody, one of the things we talk about with the students is that they want to be theater artists, and that's great. It's a lot of time, you know, you learning your craft, you know, because you want to be excellent, and you want to study, right? You want to study how to, and you want to see plays and all of that. One of the things we came here with, our goal was to be as uplifting to the students as we possibly could. You know, we wanted to inspire them, encourage them, working. I mean, they're going to school still, holding down their jobs, and you know, they've got rehearsals 6 to 10:30 every night. Like this is a lot of hours. You know?
It's a lot of work.
Asking for them, but I honestly think that, you know, I don't know. I have lots of stories in my head. I don't even think I may not live long enough to tell all the stories that are in my head, to be honest. I mean, there are stories everywhere. And especially I want to say to people who want to be writers, just write your story, you know, write the story that only you can write. We all observe people every day. We've got family stories. You can do it, you know, you just have to be willing to take a chance.
Right. Yeah. You know, that happens at record companies. When they employ an artist, the artist may make, before this artist, the demise of the artist, or if anything happened, he or she has recorded 30 or 40 songs. Right, you know, and then the record company, I guess that's how they get their profits, I guess. You know, they may decide and take their time to release it if something, you know, if the artist leaves them or whatever. Okay, but that's I guess that's normal. When you're dealing with audience like that and creativity like that.
Yeah, I heard this beautiful description earlier today, how art in life is a lot like a tree. You know, it's before it grows up, it grows down. You know, the roots in the dark where nobody can see all that hard work you're putting in, and that dark, damp, you know, it's just pushing through soil and fighting through. You know, and then people see the fruit of your labor, but they don't see what you're doing, the hours that you're putting in. I think that's the case here. I mean, you know, like today, I spent all day today trying to pick the incidental music for the play, the music that transitions us from scene to scene. And Miles Davis has this wonderful song that I love, Blues and Green. And it's, you know, just, I think it's going to fit in the play, but what 30 seconds of that song? You can spend all day just kind of doing that stuff. And it's a lot of time, but I wouldn't describe it as being hard because I just love doing it.
Something that Cezar always says in the rehearsal room, and we always remember as we remind the students and remind ourselves, it's a play because we should be playing.
Yes.
Like you can't learn, but you can't learn and take chances unless you play a little bit. So sometimes you try things and you don't like them, and sometimes you write something and like, okay, we know what, we're not going to do that. We're still making changes. Even today, we're making changes. He was telling me, he's like, oh, something that I've written, how we were going to present it in the play. We're not doing that anymore. And so being flexible is really important also, and taking feedback. Which that's good. About. You got to be able to take feedback no matter what you do. You've got to be open. You've got to have your heart open. And I think that because we've been doing this so long, those are the things we've learned, and that has just been a more joyous situation. Yeah. So we actually have not worked on a major production since 2015.
10 years.
10 years. I mean, we've done little readings here and there, but like a major production, this is the first time since 2015. So
yeah,
that part.
I would, if I have the freedom to do this, I'd like for you all to explore a time frame for which to bring your production to Horry County, and that is doing Bike Week. We have Bike Week down here.
Yes.
I haven't heard anybody talk about that, but that's to me that would be an attraction for them.
It's huge.
Okay. Yeah. And I'd like if you could explore that or see what the logistics are, the challenges that you're going to be facing, logistically, or whatever. But I think that would be a great time.
Oh yeah,
it would be. Okay. And I don't know, like it would be wonderful. Like our dream would be someone would come to this play, the world premiere, and they're from South Carolina. They're from here,
right?
And they know, and they have connection with the theater, and you could make theater anywhere. By the way, it doesn't have to be a big fancy theater. You could do theater.
Yeah, right.
And that someone would say, "Hey, I want to fund this project and take it further. And by the way, I want to bring it. Let's bring it here Memorial Day weekend, or let's Bike Week, and let's have it here."
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even though, as you see all the dates, there are a lot of dates. But even with that, we want all the shows to be sold out. That's
every single show sold out.
We want every single show to be sold out. So tell your friends, tell your family. If you can't make it, I would tell people, buy a ticket for somebody else. Buy a ticket for a young person. Right. Send somebody to the show. Right. But if we have to show people through our presence and our funding and our interest that our stories matter to masses of audiences. Yeah. As being there are so many stories that are based in these historical moments, but if it's in business, I mean, it is a business.
Yeah, that's right.
And if
absolutely.
And if people don't feel that people are going to come and see it, they're not going to invest in that. But for our part, our job is just to put the story out there. But I agree with you. I think Bike Week would be amazing. And it's so interesting because when I was thinking about the story, the first thing I was thinking about was Bike Week. Because I would say the biggest challenge of writing the Black Pearl is that it could be a 10-hour play. There's so much that we have in the play, but there's also so much that's not in the play, only because that's why I say it's a series, because there's so many angles, so many generations, so many happenings, so many just situations, so many deep things going on in Atlantic Beach, Bike Week being one of them, historical. You would be in the theater for 10 hours to try to tell, so we had to, I think that was the hardest thing, like making decisions about what we could fully tell in a fully realized, satisfying story, and what we will not be able to tell. But I think we did a pretty good job of just getting to the core. I hope that this story is just the beginning of a conversation. I hope I know that there are other people doing creative things around Atlantic Beach. I know that there are. But I want everybody to know about Atlantic Beach. And I want everybody to, no matter where you come from, to really engage in this discussion about ownership.
Right.
And I really want people to take that seriously about what that is and what it means to them, and legacy. Like I want people to think about that.
I would let me just to revert to the founder, if you will, Mr. Tyson, George Tyson.
Yes.
He lived about 3 minutes away from me when I was.
Wow.
In fact, his house is still there. I can send you a photo of it.
Oh,
if you-
please.
Yeah, when we that photo is being held as historical. You know, we're going
Yes.
to do a lot more to it. But yeah, he was actually from Wilmington, North Carolina, I believe. So Wilmington is right up the street from Atlantic Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's right up the street. About 45 miles, something like that, from
Yep.
Atlantic Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 50 miles, something like that. And that's where a lot of the founders came from. And in fact, that's where a lot of the customers came from for Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. You know, the North Carolina line, I guess, just maybe 8 miles from Atlantic Beach, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 10. Yeah.
When we came last year, we attended a reception at the Atlantic Beach Town Hall, and we got to see all of those photos, vintage photos about George Tyson's home, and all of those photos about of Atlantic Beach over the years, and just from in the beginning. It's incredible when you think about it, because then you have to think about the vision that people had.
Yeah.
Why would they? I mean, they there was nothing going on at the time that would make them think they could do these things.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
So we can do everything. Then we have all the resources compared to that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There was divine intervention there for it to come to this point. Okay.
Yes.
Come to this point.
Yes.
And hopefully this is like a stepping stone for this next generation that's coming up, because it's definitely a legacy. It's a legacy that needs to be talked about, for this generation. And who knows, someone may come up with a lot of resources. You never know, from Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring it back to what it was. But the other thing is that what is the capacity at Coastal Carolina University Auditorium there?
So we're in a black box, and if it's like most black boxes, it's probably around 100 seats.
100 seats. Yeah, I thought it was around that figure.
Yeah.
And we want to sell out every seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
look, to me, the reading was almost a sell. Well,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, that was to capacity. I mean,
Yeah.
It's the capacity.
yeah, it to capacity.
It was
But
incredible.
you're not going to have any issues, I don't think, of maintaining that. It's almost capacity, I would say. So I think the mere a lot of their customers, I believe, would be coming from people who used to enjoy Atlantic Beach, especially in the Horry County, the North Carolina line, and the PD area of South Carolina and Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think once the word gets out and it's explained well, okay,
Yes.
graphically and pictorially and whatever, and a good narrative to support that, I think that goes across well.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really attractive to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe that.
Yeah. That's my feeling as well. I think we're doing our best to get the word out now, but once the play opens and the word of mouth about how great the play is spreads, I think it'll be difficult to get a ticket from that moment on, because I think the play is just so well written. The students are doing such a wonderful job, both designing it and acting in it. And again, I think I guess what I would say is, like, it's in some ways it's a non-traditional story.
Right.
Like, there are certain storytelling rules that we are intentionally breaking. That I think will make it something that people have not seen before. We're kind of mixing some Western storytelling rules with some African storytelling rules, with some rules that are just given to us divinely by God to just create this experience that I don't think people will have seen before in quite this particular alchemy, this kind of formula, and the way that this play and this production is put together is like the reading that you saw plus magic.
Right.
When we first started this process, when I first started writing, when I finished writing the script, the first thing that Cezar said, well, I don't know if it was the first thing, but when we were in the process, he said, I want to, I'm taking big swings with this. He said, he was just letting me know. He says, we are not playing it safe in telling this story. We are taking some big swings. So one thing that people can expect is big swings, whatever that means. You know, like we're being very ambitious in our storytelling, because why not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We already have a solid story, and we are counting on the fact that our audience will get it and really get it in their hearts. And so even though it might not be something they're familiar with, that they'll feel it.
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie to you. You have to be pretty smart, and you have to pay attention.
You have to pay attention.
But you saw the reading. Like it's
right.
a nuanced story. Mm-hmm. It jumps in time.
Right.
It does a lot of things that you know, if we're accustomed to watching most things on TV, we're not asked to do. As an audience watching most, we're not asked to think. We're not asked to. We just sit in our couch and just take it in. But as you remember from the reading, it does. It has music, singing. There are spirits. You know, it is an incredible journey that I'm prayerfully asking people to take with us.
And Mr. McQueen, I'm so excited that I'm excited for people like you who saw the reading to see what you think about this, because I have to say that I think it was like a week ago, I got to go into the space and they were starting to build the set. And so that's very different. Like you see a set being built, and you know, the set is pretty ambitious also. I won't say anything more about it. It's pretty ambitious. And yeah, so my feeling from that was that it was such a humbling experience, that something that I had written, that people were putting so much time and energy in to get it to the end. And so I just, that's really important. But I see somebody was saying they want to purchase a ticket. We want to make sure everybody knows how to purchase a ticket.
Yeah.
So we put in the chat. I think, did we put in the chat?
Yeah,
there we go. So yeah, so you can log on there and get tickets. I think also you can call the box office. Should I put that number if people want to call?
Type it in then.
You can call the box office. Okay, there we go. So that's where you
type it in.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to just say a word about the design. The design and when they were building the set, the set is pretty majestic. And the only thing I said to the designers is I said, create a set that when the people who live in Atlantic Beach come to see the show, they are proud to walk into the space.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right.
That is it. So it is. Right. It's gorgeous. It's abstract. It's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's it's majestic. It's got all of these elements. It's both brand new and antique all at the same time. And so I think the designers have done an incredible job of creating this space where we could take you through this big story with lots of different locations. And originally we had 24 members in the cast. And there's 18 characters in the play. And we're doing it all in a black box theater. And for those people who don't know, a black box theater is usually the smallest form of a theatrical space that you can have. And so it's really is ambitious.
Very intimate.
It's a very intimate space. And to do something this big in a space that small is very ambitious. But my hope is it just brings you into the story in such a way that really makes you feel like you're in 1954 Atlantic Beach, you're in 2025 Atlantic Beach, and you're on the transatlantic ship coming from Africa, and you are working the fields, and you are marching in the civil rights era. You should feel all the things, all the experiences, all the hurricanes, all the beautiful days at the beach, everything you should feel in this one experience.
So are some of those things in a part of that, duplicated And I know to the best you can, if it is.
Yes. Yes. So the beauty of the difference between the reading and the production is you can bring in other elements like sound. So you can have the sound of a storm.
Yeah.
Sound of
Okay.
seagulls, the sound of the waves crashing.
Right.
All these things that you can't really do effectively in a reading, you can do in a full production.
Okay.
So so I think all of these things are really, really interwoven into this story.
Yeah, I mean, he's a director, so he's thinking about the experience of like what you're going to hear in the words, the lighting, feeling like you're in all those places.
The projections,
Yeah.
The media.
Not necessarily that, you know, we're going to reenact coming over in the middle passage, you know, but kind of understanding how that is a part of the story. I was going to say something. I wanted to say something, but I guess the other thing I wanted to mention is that I just lost it. Keep going. I lost it.
I don't know what you're going to say.
I lost it.
Okay.
I lost it.
The other thing I did want to say, I wanted to talk a little bit about the students.
Yeah.
I think Miss Marjorie had put up a note earlier asking that we should really try to encourage all the young people to come to see the play. So we have a lot of young people in this play who are working hard, who are being extremely vulnerable. I mean, it's you know, our history is a complicated one in this country. To be Black in America is a complicated history, and the students who are Black and even those who are not Black are really have really invested in this story, and I think we would be doing them a disservice if we don't support them. I think we would be hypocrites if we claim that we value our history and that we believe in the strength that we're showing in our present, and we have a hope for our future, and we don't support these young people who are putting in all this time to tell this story. Absolutely. I mean, I think we have to really stand on all 10, as they say, and support them and come to the show and encourage them to keep exploring history and to keep standing tall and to keep fighting. I mean, this is I can't even imagine what it's like to be a young person nowadays in the world as crazy as it is, with social media and all the things going on in the government and the politics and just all this nonsense going on in the world, which in some ways has always been going on, and in many ways was much worse. But they have a device in their hand that, whether they want to or not, just delivers it to them, and yet they put that device down for 4 hours every day and go into this imaginary world that Cynthia's created, but talking about these very real events. And even though the people are, it's not a documentary by any means. All the characters are fictional, but when you watch the play, you will know that everything that happened to each one of these characters has happened.
So it's fictional if you want it to be fictional.
It's fictional if you want it to be fictional, but if you know your history, you're just changing the name. You know that.
And I wanted to add on to that to say that about theater in general, just you were talking about it being a story and Black history and our history in this country. I really want to encourage people, and it doesn't have to be this play. It can be any play. But when you see Black stories put on stage, put on screen, support them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not support these. Well, the reason why I say that is because really, so coming from New York, you know, this is something I always try to let people know. I think all stories work this way. When you put a play has to go through a process. So like right now we're doing it at Coastal Carolina, right? Right. And you were talking about the future of it. Every single great thing you've ever seen started on this level. That's how it started. And so people sometimes, I think, say, oh, I'm going to wait till it's on the big screen, or it's on the big scale, whatever it is. No, you don't have to wait. You could see it at the beginning. In fact, that's even better because now you're supporting it on its journey. Yeah. You're sending a message that it's important and this is what you want to see. If everything, like I think about in New York, if everything you see is only when it's on Broadway, you're not going to see any stories that look like us. You're not going to see them.
That's right.
You have to, you know, so right. So in New York, we have off Broadway, off Broadway. We have small theater work. Like support those stories. And, you know, not just to just support them as like just to go, but you're going to find some real gems in some places that you never expected. Some really wonderful performances and stories. So, that's why I say, like, we drove to North Carolina, was it the day before yesterday?
See Fences.
To see Fences, August Wilson's Fences, which I've seen many times, but we wanted to see it in North Carolina with a North Carolina cast. And it was fantastic. It was amazing. It was brilliant. Yeah. And so theater is everywhere around us.
Yeah.
I just want people to know that, like, and churches often have a lot of theater. Like, there's theater, you can make theater wherever you want. And
to that end, it's like some of these students you could be supporting and going to see the next Denzel Washington.
You don't even know the next.
You could
Viola.
be going to support the next Viola Davis.
You don't even know.
I mean,
that's right. That's right.
I mean, these students are so amazing, so wonderful. I mean, I implore everyone.
Do they contribute to the writing? Do the students contribute to the writing?
Well, in most productions, what happens is the writer writes it, and you're working the play, and an actor will say, "Hey, I think my character might say it like this."
Right.
But they don't change. They don't write it, but they might say, my character, like we had one actor who, is Gullah, and Cynthia had written a line one way, and he said, well, actually, the way I say it is, I switched these two words,
and it was better.
Instead of saying "do you," I say "you do," or something like that. Like that. So those little touches, those little tiny touches,
make it more authentic.
Yeah, it brings an authenticity to the work. That's why I say again, it's so wonderful to be writing a play about a place to be producing a play about a place in the place with people in the place. Because Coastal Carolina is mostly local students.
Yeah.
Those students are from Conway. They're from Sandy Island. They're from Myrtle Beach. They're from Charleston, Spartanburg.
From Spartanburg.
They're from this area. Yeah. I think we have one student who's from the Northeast.
Yes.
And one student from Utah.
One from Florida.
Yeah.
I don't recall during the reading that somebody actually spoke. Now I could have forgotten maybe. Somebody who actually spoke Gullah.
Yeah, I don't think
we did that in the reading.
No. Here we have a few more Gullah words.
Right.
We're trying to integrate that in there the best we can. But so I guess the other thing I'll say, and this is not to put blame on anybody, it's just the situation as it is. We're doing this play at Coastal Carolina University. They have an incredible theater program. They've been incredibly supportive of us. A lot of the students, the Black students,
right.
This is either their first play that they've been in or the first time they've been a lead in a play, because they don't do a lot of Black-centered work at Coastal Carolina.
Right.
So these students are really stretching themselves and stretching their souls in a way that makes me incredibly proud. So at the same time, I'm trying not to put too much on them. So we brought in a dialect coach, a wonderful professor at CCU. Her name is Tyne. And we would work with the students on their dialect and everything else. And then we just kind of like last week decided, you know what? Let them bring their own individuality to the. So we have one actor who is from South Carolina, but her family is from West Africa. And so her character has a West African dialect and says words with a West African dialect. Like I said, we have another actor whose family is from Sandy Island. They are Gullah. So their character does speak in more of a traditional Gullah Geechee accent. But really just trying to let them be them. Let them know that they are enough, that these students are beautiful, they are talented, they are wise, and that they have value, that they're not only do their lives matter, but their art matters, their creativity matters. And we just try to work every day in the room to encourage that. And I think that is why this place is going to be unique. You're not going to have seen anything like it, because these humans have never been on that stage playing these roles. And so I'm just incredibly proud of them. I'm hoping that the community comes out and supports in such a way that the next generation of Black students at Coastal Carolina don't get to their senior year without ever having a lead role in a play.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if we care about their education, we care about our future, this is how we invest in it.
Absolutely. Well, look, you guys, I'll tell you, I wish we had a lot more time, but we got to.
Yes.
Yeah. But I know maybe next time we'll have a 2-hour show. But
Yes. But when you come see the show, let us know what day you're coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
stay. We have extended our stay so that we can be at every performance, so that we can personally thank everybody from the community who comes to see
Right.
the show. If you come
Yeah.
to the show, you'll get a chance to meet the playwright and the director. And we just want to thank you for coming and supporting.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and thank you all too for even bringing that production to Horry County.
Yes.
Okay, you don't know how much it means. At least it means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that you all are taking this an endeavor to a greater level,
Yes.
where I think people. I think there's gonna be a lot of appreciative people there. I believe.
So,
You know.
Well, we
Yeah.
hope we hope that we
Make you proud.
We make you proud. That's what we hope.
I think
That's
I
our
think
prayer.
you will. I think you and please explore the bike weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
Suggestion. Okay, I think it's going to go.
It makes so much sense.
It makes total sense.
Yeah, I think it's going to go across well. Well,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not. But anyway, look. God bless the
Yes.
Yeah.
Charlotte has his own, and you all have your own.
Yes.
So that's that's why I know it's going to be coming from your heart. Okay, and I'm sure that it's going to be all that's going to be put in there. So we to our viewers, if our viewers could just stick around when our guests leave, we have something to kind of interject, something on a very, very local basis. So with you all, so look, we want to wish you all Godspeed, and looking forward to these dates. And I hope that everybody took those dates down again. We're going to try and put them on our website.
Okay. Thank you.
The dates, and there they are. It's good again. So in a recording, this is also a recorded program, so people can go back in about another week or so, and when they get this pull this up, they'll see those dates again.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for
God
having
bless.
us on. We'll see you soon.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
You take care.
All right. Bye bye.
Godspeed. And special thanks to April. I know she's working so hard over there, and I won't tell you where she is. But magnificent job from working behind the scenes, April, and thank you much. I wish you could be here with us so they could see you, but I know that with your skills and everything, it's turned out great. So to our viewers, I said we had something else to get into, and this just will be for a few moments, but for especially Horry County, we want to give you the opportunity to give us some feedback on some graphics. It's a photo actually that we think you all could participate in, and give us some feedback on it, probably on the next program, or you can send us an email or whatever, or text to let us know who these particular individuals are in this group photo. So here we go. This is a photo of, this came from our treasure chest, by the way. This is the Eastern Star, the group, the Eastern Star of Horry County. And the date, we're not sure of when this photo was taken, but I'll give someone I don't know how clear it is on there, but it's Mr. Newt Jones is the mason there, I was told. And you can see we put the title there that they helped to pave the way. So we have members of the Horry County Eastern Star posing in front of Bethel AME Church. I don't know the date, but if you look at some of these photos, you can please, we certainly welcome your feedback. You can send us some feedback and identifying some of these people. Some we know, but then again, some we don't know. A lot of them we don't know. So we wanted to put that up for you all this evening as a. I think the photo itself, the vintage photo itself, is a gift, because we're exposing that. So we welcome your input regarding identifying these members. Okay, you can email us to wcmagazine, the number 2, at gmail.com. It's at the bottom of there. Again, it's wcmagazine, number 2, at gmail.com. wcmagazine2 at gmail.com. So we want to thank the people who submitted that. So yes, April's coming up and said it to her who she is right now. Who's that again, April? She said she identified her grandmama. Okay, yeah, grandmama Miss Rosa Johnson. I don't know. See, all that helps. Pretty soon we have identification of all these people. I mean, I think this is a very rare photo. It's a lot of these people have gone on. Again, the gentleman who's a Mason. As much as I know about Masonry and Eastern Star and stuff, it's minimal, to me. So, Mr. Newt Jones, he was also a scout leader there. Is the only gentleman that's in the photo. So, give many thanks to of us getting this from Ms. Laura Frances McQueen when she was alive. I think this is pre 19 or year 2015 or something like that, 2014. So, but anyway, gives you opportunity to send in somebody who you've identified. Okay. Yeah, April said, "Yep, that's her, her grandma." Okay, so look, if you want to look at this photo again, go to the website, not the email, but the website where this program will be shown again. Okay, unless you can take a screenshot. I'm sending you through this. You can take a screenshot right now, and then you can look at it later on and say, that's who it is. So I know that's a piece of paper. Okay? So, without any further ado, we hope to see you all next week, same time at 7 p.m. And thanks so much. April says she'll post it on the Facebook page. So thanks to everyone, and God willing, we'll see you next week, 7 p.m. And it's going to be the show is just going to be just as interesting, and that's all I can say right now. But it's been very informative as usual, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Godspeed. Thanks.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook.